call to order is for the Joint Public Safety Committee. Today is June 10th. The time is 1:11. Our first item of business is to review and approve the minutes for May the 27th, 2025. If there are no additional corrections or minutes, we will entertain a motion to approve as read.
Move it. Second.
All in favor? Sergeant Knight, can you call the first item up for me, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, the first item will be Boss Entertainment Center, 1612 3rd Avenue North, Birmingham, Alabama, 35203, Ms. Thomasina Hardy.
Okay, ma'am, can you come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please?
Good evening, it's Thomasina Hardy. The address is 1612 3rd Avenue North, Birmingham, Alabama, 35203.
Okay. Sergeant Knight, any incidents at this location?
Yes, we've had several incidents since January up to May. 21 calls for service at that location.
Okay. Is it before or while she's been in business?
While she's been in business.
Interesting.
Madam, can we hear, do you have what those 21 calls for service were?
Yes, we got a lot of trespassing, theft, a lot of 23s. Got one assault. I guess a misdemeanor. Somebody got to fighting, I suppose. You know anything about that assault at your location? It happened back on May the 21st.
Okay, we had a customer that the security had asked him to leave out of the building because he was actually out bothering one of the other female customers. Okay. And when he was asked to leave out, he swung on the security guard and hit him. So the security guard then had to apprehend him and put the cuffs on him. I called for Birmingham to come out because I didn't want him to get into a crazy situation.
Okay. And everything else loud noise, but it's a lot of calls in a short period of time. And I want to address one thing. I noticed your safety plan that you just gave us a few minutes ago. Police presence be 5 officers minimum. Various events based on the event you're having.
Yes, because I don't often have. I had polices when I had a teenager, I guess big 30 something, and I had to have police that came out. So I did hire 5 Birmingham police officers. I am familiar with several officers that if I need them, I do put them on schedule. For the most part, our events doesn't even require to have officers. I have 6 securities on hand.
Okay. And I want to address a few key points at your location that we have listed. On April 7th, you had, I guess, the neighborhood businesses have videos of 2 males arguing in the front of your business and a shot was fired. April 21st, a fight between 2 females inside the establishment. Both were removed from the establishment. Based on the police report, one of the females involved followed the other one as she went home. I'm going to skip May 26th and go to May 31st. We got video footage from neighboring businesses captured a fight in the entrance of the establishment. Now, May 26th, I'm kind of puzzled by this one right here. This kind of disturbed me. On May 26th, security personnel inside the establishment approached and handcuffed a male individual. When officers arrived at the scene, he had visible injuries, including bleeding mouth, missing tooth, and a bump on his head. Injuries occurred with security guards tried to grab the individual. A second security guard shoved the individual and a fight started. The security guard displayed threatening behavior toward the male in the presence of law enforcement officers. The incident aroused because the owner wanted the male trespass due to a prior altercation. Now, I want to ask you one question. What did this person do prior to that? Was that documented? Why did you want him trespass for something previous?
Okay, the trespassing came. The trespassing came when the male, because I was actually at the establishment, the male and another male was into it about something that happened at the bar with a female. That's when the security went in to ask the guy to leave. That's when the guy then swung on the security officer, stating that he thought it was the guy he was into it with, but it wasn't the guy he was into it with. I then asked them to trespass both guys that were into it so that they could not come back to the establishment.
So they weren't trespassed at that time, though, because they returned. You see what I'm saying? You wanted
No.
him trespassed on May 26th. You stated you wanted him trespassed for something prior to this.
The only trespassing I've ever done was, and I don't know if they got the dates mixed up, but it was just recently, so about a Saturday or two ago. That's when no, it was a Sunday. That's when I trespassed. I've never had an issue with these two guys before. I don't know what they had prior before, nowhere else, none of that.
So with these 4 incidents, I'm wondering, you have 5 officers, most time 5 on duty, right? When you're open, 5 police officers?
I have 6 security officers on duty. I've only had Birmingham police officers there working when I had the event that dealt with the teens. Okay, we do have officers that patrol the premises. So if something is happening that I need to get their attention, I do call 911. A lot of calls you guys do get, because I will call if they don't, when I say, hey, leave off the outside because it's too much loitering, and they don't listen.
So what days and hours do you use police officers? Like, do you have set days, like, is it set day?
It's a Saturday event. On Sundays, I don't, because normally we don't have issues. This particular Sunday, I don't understand what those two guys were going through.
Okay, it's a lot of calls for service, and these incidents, based on the outcome, to me, they weren't handled right. This last one disturbed me because security officers should have been arrested.
And then,
He should have been arrested by law enforcement because
and when he did, I am going to state that when he was disrespecting an officer, because I have officers in my family, I asked him to not speak with those officers like that. You can't afford to get respect if you're not giving respect to the officers. So he got terminated from the whole position of the job.
Okay. So this was just an individual just doing security for you. He wasn't with a company, was he?
No.
Okay.
He actually was filling in at night for another guy.
Okay. Well, like I said, the call for service log, it's a lot of calls, a lot of repeat calls, a lot of incidents involving fights, so I don't know, to me, it's a lot going on there, So,
And if I may speak myself, I get a lot of calls from the attorney that's next door to me. I'm aware of that. She does a lot of false calls because of some personal issues that I have with her. So
what's your hours on Friday and Saturday? What's your hours?
we open up from 9, close at 2.
So you consider yourself a club or event center?
No, we're an event center. We have different type events.
Okay, so do you open, so you open when you don't have nothing booked, you still open?
No,
You don't?
no.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for letting us hear that. We can continue down the line.
All right. So, Ms. Thomasine, what was your last name again?
Hardy,
When did you take over this establishment?
May of last year.
So I'm curious to ask, why didn't you attend the neighborhood meeting? Because I see you went to the neighborhood meeting on 5/12. Why haven't you attended the neighborhood meeting before now?
When I was reaching out to the president and the vice president, one of them, I can't remember, but one of them is sick and they weren't having actual in-service meetings. They were doing them over the VI phone. So I did reach out to them back when I very first got my paperwork. And then I also travel in and out of state with my job. So once I got here, I explained to them that I needed to be able to be in a meeting. And that's when the young lady told me that she could schedule some, but the president, undoubtedly, she's sick.
Okay. So Sergeant Knight, correct me, so you took over this establishment. Give me the date again, the month
May,
of 2024.
yes.
So Sergeant Knight, is it correct, the taking over the establishment, it was licensed, correct?
Yes.
So she just wasn't the person that the license were under?
Correct.
Okay. So basically, sounds to me like a transfer was trying to be initiated here. And she should have been taking the steps, the measures before a year to date to try to do that. Am I correct? Okay. Mr. Lowe, does the applicant meet zoning?
Property Zone B for central business districts. She does meet zoning requirements.
Okay, Ms. Brown, is the applicant in taxes, good standing with taxes and revenue?
No, they are not in good standing. It's a couple of taxes they need to clear up.
And they don't have my tax stuff in the system correctly. I've been trying to pay my taxes over the computer. The young lady just told me when I came down last week that the coding is not right. That's why I can't do anything on the computer.
Is anybody here to speak for or against this item? Okay, does any of my committee members, have questions for the applicant?
I do, Madam Chair. So, Ms. Hardy, who is the individual who, I assume that you purchased this business back in May of last year, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm actually renting the building, from Mr. Hilliard.
Okay, and so so in May of I'm a little confused why we didn't transfer this license a year ago.
I don't know. He had a couple of things that he needed to get finished in the building. He had fire inspections that had to be passed. He had to get the actual fire system redone. So those are things that we were running up against.
So we didn't transfer the liquor license because of something going on in the building?
Yeah, you have to go through the fire inspections and all those different inspections. So when they came out, he had to get some things fixed in the building.
Correct, so that means that you were operating without the proper systems in place that were functioning that could pass a fire inspection, is what you're telling me.
It's
You've
new to
operated
me,
for the
so-
past year, right?
Yes.
But based on the police reports, we know you've been operating for the past few months. Okay, that answers my question, thank you.
Councilor Moore?
I don't have any questions.
Madam Chair, in light of some of the things that we've heard today, including calls for service, as well as this business has been operating, in my opinion, without transferring the license in a time-appropriate manner, along with operating knowingly that they could not pass a fire inspection, I'd like to forward this to the full council with a recommendation of no.
Do we have another second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, Ms. Hardy, we're gonna send this to a full council for a no vote and a public hearing, and the staff will be in touch with you to let you know when it'll go to the council, the full council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sergeant Knight, can you call up the second item for us, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. The second item will be Fairway Social, 1230 Second Avenue South, Birmingham, Alabama, 35233, Mary Miranda.
Okay. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, I'm Mary Kate Miranda, and the address is 1230 Second Avenue South.
Okay. Sergeant Knight, any incidents at this location?
No incidents, Madam Chair.
All right. Mr. Lowe, does the applicant meet zoning?
Property Zone M1 light manufacturing, and they do meet zoning requirements.
Okay, Ms. Brown, are they in good standing with taxes and revenue?
Yes, they are in good standing with taxes and revenue.
Okay, is anyone here to speak for or against this item? Okay, the applicant presented to the, doesn't say which neighborhood, I'm assuming the South Side neighborhood, South Side. 6 were in attendance, 6 supported, there are no opposition, the neighborhood supports the affiliation. Does any council committee members have questions for the applicant?
Yes, ma'am, what are y'all doing?
So this is, the concept is a simulator restaurant. They'll have, I think 6 bays where you can do golf simulators. They have dodgeball, basketball. I think there's even maybe baseball where you can do pitching. So it's like a simulator bar and
Okay.
restaurant.
Thank you.
Councilor Moore?
No questions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? All right, ma'am, that item passes the public safety agenda. We will be in contact with you and let you know when to go to the full council for a vote.
Great, thank y'all.
Thank you. Sergeant Knight, can you call up the next item for me, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. The next item will be the Pony, 342 Valley Avenue, Birmingham, Alabama, 35209, Charles Westland.
All right. State your name and address for the record, please.
Certainly, it's Charles Westland, 112 Mattocket Loop.
Okay. All right. Any incidents at this location, Sergeant Knight?
No incidents, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Lowe, does the applicant meet zoning?
Property zone B2, general business district, and they do meet zoning requirements.
Ms. Brown, are they in good standing with taxes and revenue?
Yes, they are in good standing with taxes and revenue.
Okay, so it's two applications, here. Tell us about this establishment.
What this is a shareholder change. There's an existing business there that was known as Sammy's. It's operated for, I think, like 30 years. I'm not exactly sure. And what, frankly, the operator is chosen to retire. And I operate these types of establishments across the country. And we had an opportunity to come in there and hopefully revitalize what's going on there.
Council Williams, do you have questions for the applicant?
Real quick, when you say revitalize operations, what do you mean by that?
Well, quite frankly, I mean, she had done no improvements in the business in about the last 20 years. So when I say revitalize, I refer to carpet, furniture, and increase
capital.
the staff that's there,
Capital.
yeah.
Okay. And then is there anything specifically that you guys do to prevent human trafficking when you hire your staff?
Absolutely. First of all of my security people are trained. Everybody that works for me has to be trained, in addition, by my insurance company. So they're all qualified, as is all of my bar staff. They all go through a training that requires them to be certified also, which is a requirement of my insurance company. We have approximately 32 cameras that we're installing on the premises, in addition to a camera trailer in the rear of the parking lot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Brown, are they in good standing with taxes and revenue?
Yes, they are in good standing with taxes and revenue.
Okay, anyone here from the public to speak for or against this item? Councilor Moore, do you have questions for the applicant?
This the strip club, right?
It's a gentleman's club, yes.
Okay. All right. No, I don't have any, questions. I think, Council Williams asked a question about human trafficking, making sure that, the young ladies will be safe. So, I'll move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I'm sorry, Sergeant Knight, call up the next item. And you can stay right there, it's your item.
Yes, Madam Chair, the next item will be Division Two Dance Entertainers, transfer application to Pony, 342 Valley Avenue, Birmingham, Alabama, 35209, Charles Westland.
Okay. Detective, I'm sorry, Sergeant, I don't know why I want to call you Detective Sergeant Knight. Any incidents at this location?
No incidents.
All right, Mr. Lowe, does the applicant meet zoning?
Does meet zoning requirements.
Okay, Ms. Brown, is the applicant in good standing with taxes and revenue?
Yes, they are in good standing with taxes and revenue.
Okay, anybody here to speak for or against this item? Seeing none, the applicant met with the Glen Iris neighborhood. Let me get this on record. They met on June the 2nd, 2025. 15 were in attendance, 1 opposed, 10 support, 4 had no recommendations. Does any of my committee members have any questions for the applicant?
No.
I have a comment that is going to be made towards the administration, specifically Birmingham Police. I implore you guys to please help make sure that we don't have issues with human trafficking at this location. Not suggesting that there are any, but I know that, when we have taken deep dives into what's going on in the world of trafficking, and this is speaking of your industry in general, not your specific location. I'll be very clear about that. But obviously, there is a correlation to trafficked individuals in businesses such as this. So I just want to make sure that we're doing everything as a city to make sure that we're doing our part to curb that trafficking. Other than that, I have a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that item passes the council agenda. We'll be in touch with you, let you know we'll go to the full council for a vote.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Sergeant Knight, next item for me, please.
Yes, Madam Chair, next item will be Nightcap, 2225 Second Avenue North, Birmingham, Alabama, 35203. Mrs. Smith, Mr. Smith.
Good morning. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Bernice Smith, 2319 First Avenue North, Birmingham, 35203.
Okay.
I'm sorry, do you have copies of my security plan? Okay.
Yes, we
Ms. Brown sent them over? Okay, I had them.
All right. Sergeant Knight, any incidents at this location?
No incidents, Madam Chair.
Okay. Mr. Lowe, does the applicant meet zoning?
Property zone B4 Central Business District. He does meet zoning requirements.
Ms. Brown, is the applicant in good standings with taxes and revenue?
Yes, the applicant is in good standing with taxes and revenue.
Anyone here to speak for or against this item? Seeing none, the applicant met with the Central City neighborhood on May the 20th. 7 were intended, 7 supported. Does any of my committee members have any questions for the applicant?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that item passes the council agenda.
Thank y'all very much. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Okay, next item is item 6. It is a resolution authorizing a renewal agreement with Midwest Employer Casualty Company for the provision of excess workers' compensation workers' insurance for the term of 1 year commencing July the 1st, 2025, and ending June the 26th, for the amount of $427,737. Who do we have before us?
Marilyn Johnson, HR Division Manager. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. The floor is yours, Ms. Johnson.
So the item I have in front of you is the excess workers' compensation insurance, which we have to renew every year. And that coverage is for our employees who may experience a catastrophic incident where the cost of the claim exceeds $500,000. Anything beyond that, the insurance company pays, reimburses the city. So that is why it's important to have that coverage.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Johnson? Committee members have any questions?
So, I have a question. So this is just for workers' compensation?
It is just for excess, yes, just for workers' compensation. We have a separate plan that's on the agenda for the medical.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? All right, Ms. Johnson, stay right there, and all these next items are yours. It's a resolution approving payment to ACE, American Insurance Company, for a renewal of a lump sum of disability cancer benefits for eligible City of Birmingham firefighters for a period of 12 months, commencing July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026, in the amount of $7,244,000, as mandated by the Act of 2019-361 Alabama HB 360.
Yes, this is insurance that the state legislature required jurisdictions or municipalities in the state of Alabama to carry on their firefighters. So we have to renew this insurance every year because it's based on the number of firefighters that we have employed at the time. And so that number fluctuates year over year.
Okay. Any committee members have questions for Ms. Johnson?
Second.
All in favor? All right, next item is a resolution authorizing an agreement with Optimum Health Insurance Company for the provision of medical stop-loss insurance for a term of 1 year commencing July 1st, 2025, ending June the 30th, 2026, in the amount of $1,254,025.00. Ms. Johnson.
This is the medical stop-loss insurance that you were speaking of, Councilor Hunter. And we have to carry this every year. We renew it every year based on the number of employees that we have. And any increase you see in premium year over year is just medical inflation, because we do have some very sick employees, and oftentimes we have claims that exceed $500,000, but we get reimbursed by the insurance company.
Any committee members have questions for Ms. Johnson?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next item is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a third-party administrative management care employees assistance plan agreement with Behavioral Health Systems, under which BHS will provide professional management care, mental health, and substance abuse services. City of Birmingham employees will administer to the city's Employee Assistance Program, EAP, for a term of 3 years for the amount of $1 million. Ms. Johnson.
So again, this is our third-party administrator for mental health and substance use. We have been with Behavioral Health Systems now since 2010, and they just do a very, very good job. We've never spent over $1 million in any 3-year period with Behavioral Health Systems. They actually contain our costs while giving our employees what they need.
Okay. Any committee members have questions for Ms. Johnson?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is item number 10. It's a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement pursuant to subsection 11-40-1, subsection 11-4355, subsection 4116, 51A8 of Code of Alabama, 1975, with Radiant Insurance Incorporated vendor to provide the city police department and Radiant software, which includes 15 screen service enterprise software application subscriptions, a PMW premium license, 15 Radiant Screen Ray N100 devices, and shipping Radiant software will be used by BPD Technology and PIO units to update infomercials and flyers to disseminate information, announcements, etc. throughout the department. The term of the agreement shall not exceed 2 years. The total sum to be paid to the vendor is $18,751. Said funds come from GL 001-043-26001.527050 professional fees and professional services. Who do we have before us?
Good afternoon, I'm Annette Harris. I serve as the Deputy Director of Enterprise Systems for the IMS Department.
Okay, could you tell us about this item?
So this is a software and some devices that the police department's going to be using to broadcast messages out through their various stations. It will also allow the chief to address everyone during their roll call meetings, and he would not have to be at all the meetings. He could just do it one time electronically through their TVs and these other devices.
Any committee members have questions for Ms. Harris?
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you, Ms. Harris. So, old and new business. So I have some new business. A resolution appointing 3 members to the Special Care Facilities Financing Authority of the City of Birmingham Children's Hospital. The 3 appointees are Emery Malden, replacing Gail Barber, expiration November 13th, 2029. Andrea Neely, replacing Charles Ball, expiration November the 8th, 2027. And Dulcie Riviera, replacing Houston L. Brown, expiring November 10th, 2025. And I am making a recommendation that these special attachments go to the council agenda for June the 17th, 2025.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Rod Cantor from the Bradley Rant firm. I represent Children's Hospital. And one of the things I heard was, did you say Dulce was one of the proposed directors?
She is the new appointment.
Yes, ma'am. We had changed that request because we learned that she is not a resident of the city of Birmingham. And so I just wanted to see if we could substitute a Nathan Weinert. I have his resume here, related information, in place of her name. The Alabama law doesn't allow us to have someone who's not a Birmingham landowner to be a director.
I know, Nate, that I could speak on his behalf.
Okay, if you can give that to
Thank you.
Administrator McDaniel, we'll put him as the candidate to be slated up.
Yeah, so I guess my motion included Nathan instead of Dolce.
No, Nathan, correct. Okay.
If we have nothing else, I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All right, motion